This will probably be my first and only video on American singer-songwriter Taylor Swift, unless, of course, 30 years in the future, she becomes President of the United States or something. I'm not going to be too critical here, as she is worth $1.1 billion, meaning whatever she's doing it pretty well. Not to mention that almost everybody I know likes her, so I'll tread a little bit carefully in this presentation. But the key is to put on lots of lipstick, keep your mouth slightly open, show your front teeth, and look seductively at the audience. Sorry, I promise that's the only wisecrack I'll make. I've got it out of my system now. First, I'd just like to point out I don't like fame and celebrity, if you weren't already aware. I don't gush over people. I think celebrities are just like you and me, only more well-known and worth more. But Taylor Swift mania, in my opinion, has got a little bit out of control of late. Let me explain. I was at the dentist not too long ago, a guy I guess in his 30s, and guess who he likes? Taylor Swift. He couldn't stop talking about her. Problem is, when I'm dosed up on lidocaine or whatever, and he's got his hands in my mouth, I can't respond. I just have to shut up and listen. Him and his assistant were going on about the upcoming concert in Melbourne at the time, and how he missed out on buying the cheaper tickets, but ended up paying $800 for tickets for him and his wife. I don't know if that's $800 each or $800 for two, but either way, it's expensive. Not to mention the travel costs to get from Brisbane to Melbourne, plus hotel stays and the like. Cost of living crisis? What cost of living crisis? To be fair, he is a dentist, so I guess his salary is pretty good. My bill came close to $500, so I guess that contributed somewhat towards the tickets. He was going on about how it's such a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and he may never have the chance to see her again, even though she's been here twice in 2 years, hasn't she? And he was going on about how she's the seminal singer of our generation. As I said, I was loaded up with lidocaine, so I had very little to say on the matter. As I said, I don't get how people gush over celebrities. It just doesn't make sense to me. I do not get that feeling, and I have a bit of evidence. A couple of decades ago, one rainy Sunday afternoon, who did I see walking down the street towards me? Australian musician and artist, the late Rolf Harris. This was, of course, before his indecent assault charges. As I walked past, he said g'day, and I said g'day back, and then I walked home. Later that evening, my mother was telling me about how she heard on the radio that Rolf Harris was in town, and I said, yeah, I know, I saw him. Where did you see him? On the street. Did you get his autograph? Nah. Why not? I didn't want to bug the guy. He was just going for a Sunday afternoon walk. Actually, about 20 years prior, I did get his autograph. Well, he gave it to everybody in my grade. I think I was in grade 1 in Sydney, and we went to one of his concerts. I remember it was raining a lot, and I had to share a raincoat with this red-headed girl named Georgina. I wonder if she still remembers me. Look, don't get me wrong, I liked Rolf Harris. I often listened to his songs, but I saw no need to bug him while he was walking down the street. Another time, probably about 25 years ago, I went into a small bar in Brisbane, just by myself. There were only a couple of other people inside, just how I like it. Anyway, the two guys sitting at the bar were Gordon Tallis and Wendell Saylor, rugby league players for the Brisbane Broncos at the time. Look, I wasn't a rugby league fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I knew these guys, probably because they were always on TV or whatever. Anyway, I sat down near Wendell. He turned to me and said, "How you doing?" "Yeah, not bad. You guys finished your practice for the day, have you?" "Yeah, just snuck out for a quiet beer." "Oh, yeah?" Just at that moment, some revellers were walking past, and then one of them said, "Hey, there's Gordon Tallis and Wendell Saylor." And then they all streamed into the bar and surrounded Gordon and Wendell. Obviously, this was before the days of selfies and the like, but they were all jostling to get their attention. In the process, they were bumping into me and made me spill my beer. I stood up and said, "Hey, can you stop bumping into me, please?" Then one big guy turned to me and said, "There's Gordon Tallis and Wendell Saylor." "Yeah, I know." Then I walked out. I was thinking, what the hell's wrong with these people? I'll tell you what, I would hate to be famous. So back to Taylor Swift mania. People are actually tracking her private jet, which her team doesn't like very much, issuing the perpetrator a cease and desist, even though he's only using public information to track the jet. It's funny, the ABC seemed to give Taylor a pass on her carbon footprint, even though the average private jet emits 2 tonnes of carbon an hour, whereas the average European is responsible for only 8 tonnes a year. I'm not going to do the maths, but I think we can all agree she's responsible for a crap ton of carbon being emitted into the atmosphere. Look, I'm not criticising her. What else can she do as a mega famous billionaire with people trying to stalk her? Fly economy class or hold concerts via Zoom? Fans, fanatics, whatever you want to call them, were waiting in the cold in Melbourne in the middle of the night trying to catch a glimpse of the star as she disembarked from her plane 100 metres away or whatever. The best photo they got was a zoomed-up photo of the airport ground crew, who had a better vantage point and were also trying to catch a glimpse of Ms. Swift. Of course, all the media outlets sent out their finest reporters to the airport, filming her plane landing and so on. According to recent news, Taylor Swift went to an Italian restaurant, Taylor Swift went to the zoo, Taylor Swift's boyfriend, Travis, arrived at the airport on his private jet. Yes, this is considered breaking news. Man, the carbon footprint between them must be staggering. Of course, the ABC haven't stooped to such lowbrow reporting. It's beneath them. Oh wait, it feels like Swift is the biggest thing to ever land in Sydney. How much will Taylor Swift make from merchandise at her Sydney shows? Taylor Swift dines in Surrey Hills while fans queue for merchandise. Superstar Taylor Swift touches down in Sydney. Plastic bead shortage after Taylor Swift bracelet craze. You get the idea, but even stories that are only slightly related are making the headlines on the ABC. Bedside vigil for girl who was critically injured in crash that killed sister on Taylor Swift trip. I wonder if she was headed to Aldi instead of the Taylor Swift's concert. Would it have made such big headlines? Look, I don't really blame the media. Taylor Swift brings in the money wherever she goes. I'm not even really that upset by the mania around her. People obviously like her, and wherever she travels to, she literally boosts the economy. She gives people jobs. All those hundreds of people who helped to set up her concerts, all the security staff, cleaners, ticket sellers, merchandise vendors, plastic bead factories, they're all profiting because of Taylor Swift. And now she's a billionaire because of it. Some might even argue that I'm profiting from her by making this video. Although I suspect most of my regular viewers won't be watching this. It's just that, as I said, I just don't give a hoot about celebrities. They don't particularly interest me, and I don't get any feelings of excitement when I see them. Anyway, that's my take on Taylor Swift mania, and as I said, I won't be talking about her again. Unless, of course, she becomes the president.